Well, this is Pretty Corner, just north of Sheringham, and this is our first stop on this holiday. This wasn't an overnight stop. I've just stopped here briefly to have a walk in the woods. So from Pretty Corner we drove to West Runton. This is where we stayed on the car park for that night. In the morning we walked from West Runton into Sheringham and look around Sheringham briefly. This is the site of a water well. Mary Pym donated money for the clock to be put on top. I told Sue there was a surprise waiting for her today, but at this point she didn't know what it was. Now she does. This is called the Poppy Line. It's only 5¼ miles from Sheringham to Holt, and it also stops at Weyburn on the way.
No, it's like a When he ups it up, then we can get on, don't we? Watch it go on the bus first. Crashed into it, didn't it?
He just wants to watch them turn from there.
So here we are on the Norfolk Broads, and this is the River Bure, just as we're leaving Wroxham. And this is Wroxham Bridge. And this is a nice looking pub with a nice thatched roof and a bit of decoration up there. This is at Wood Bastwick. But we didn't have time to go in, so it's on with the ride. So pick your bike up.
Ranworth.
And And this is the www, no, not the World Wide Web, it's a Woodvastwick wishing well. This ride is called the Broadland Church Ride. So, one would assume we're going to see quite a few churches today. And here's one with quite an unusual round tower. Well, there's the thunder.
Bit scared. Oh, crikey.
And this is the rain. Luckily we found somewhere to shelter. We also had lunch here, seeing as it was lunchtime. And then by the time we finished lunch, it had stopped and pretty much dried up.
Acle Church.
And here's another unusual tower in that it looks like it's six-sided.
Yeah, I keep trying to catch up to you, I've no chance.
Well, I've got the electric bike there, but it's so flat around here I've not had to use it. Well, I've used the bike obviously, but not the power. So here we are back on site now at Ludham, and the sun's shining still. So today we did a walk from the site to Hickling Broad Nature Reserve. On the way we saw this hare. We saw one or two hares while we were in this area. And just here we saw a load of dragonflies. Don't seem to show up very well on the camera though. And this was weird how the boat seemed to be sailing through the reeds rather than on the water. Whilst we were in the area of the Broads themselves, we saw notice about the grazing of conic ponies. Well, not knowing what conic ponies were at the time, we wondered if these were them. But alas, they weren't. These are just white horses. And this is just outside the village of Motorhome. And this is Motorhome Bridge, and this is where we had lunch. And an hour later we're almost back at the site. This is a little marina just south of Ludham, possibly called Womack, the Womack Boatyard. Then the next day it was another bike ride. So here we are at Barton Turf, looking onto Barton Broad. And then a little bit further along the ride, at a place, or near a place called Neaty's Head, we left the bikes and did this boardwalk.
Did you know that the song?
Well, here we are in the New Forest, and the sun is still shining. And this is where we'll eat tonight, and also our pitch for tonight. Then the next morning we were on the Brockenhurst ride, and were lucky enough to see these deer. And then eventually some of the famous New Forest ponies. So after the ride it was time to leave the Crown Stirrup, and here we are at Matley Wood campsite. So we finished today with a warm sunny evening. Tomorrow, different day altogether. So the video camera didn't come out so much due to the rain, so this is just taken on my phone. These are just replicas of the stones. And also a mock-up of a typical village. We'd parked the van on a green lane where quite a few other vans. And that's where we'll stay tonight. From the van we walk to the visitor centre, which is here, and then we get a coach or bus, whatever you want to call it, to the actual Stonehenge.
It's a good place for a signpost.
We just stayed one night at this site just outside a place called Wormington, and here we're having a little walk into a couple of typical Cotswold villages. One of them Stanton and the other one's Stanway. So this is Stanton. And we're now leaving Stanton and following the Cotswold way to Stanway. And this is Stanway. Certainly had a bit of rain overnight, and I think we had a little bit during the day as well. You'll see they're flying the Ukrainian flag in support of Ukraine against the Russian invasion. This is a statue of St. George killing his dragon. Next stop was Toddington railway station, where there was a cafe. So we stopped at the cafe for some lunch, and then we had a walk through rapeseed, which got thicker and thicker and just seemed to go on forever. And because we'd had a bit of rain, we got wet through.
Damp.
The next day we left this site and we parked in the lay-by just outside Broadway. This is part of the walk that we did, the first part of the walk as we're heading into Buckland. Having left Buckland behind, we're now on our way to Snow's Hill.
Climbing over it.
Go on now. Don't know why I'm laughing, I have to do it next. You're so cool.
That's on an official bridleway here. You can't climb the gate where the hinges are because it's all full of nettles.
I was quite worried about climbing the gate actually because of my knee not being 100%. And here we are at Broadway Tower. So after the tower it was down into Broadway itself and then back to the van for a drive to Bolton-on-the-Water. And this was our pitch for the night. It's quite a busy little place, so I got up earlier next morning, took a few pictures with it being a bit quieter. And from there it was a short drive to a little place called Broadwell, which is near Stow-on-the-Wold. And this is the Fox Inn in Broadwell. This is where we stayed and ate that night. So as soon as we got the van parked up, we had a little wander around Broadwell before walking into Stow-on-the-Wold. This is a section of the Monarch's Way as we go into Stow-on-the-Wold. These are wells fed by a natural spring and all trimmed up for the Platinum Jubilee. And this is Stow-on-the-Wold. And then after breakfast the next morning we set off for the final surprise of the holiday.
Feeding the gulls on the crows.
And then suddenly everything became clear. This is a dole.
be in charge of the
Oh, no, why do you run away? No.